video we're going to study Old Man by Neil Young, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn sort of how to fake it. We're going to learn how to sound just like the tune without getting bogged down with every single little specific note, every little nuance, every little hammer-on, every little slide. We're just going to play the chords, and we're going to study a couple techniques to sound like Neil Young, but we're not going to obsess over every single note. We're just going to play it very basic, and this is a good way to fake your way through the tune and sound very close to the original. Okay, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by placing our fingers in the shape of a basic D chord. Okay, if you don't know D, look it up in the chord dictionary. Okay, there's our basic D. You strum 4 strings with your pick on a D. Okay, and so the song basically revolves back and forth between a D and that same exact chord 3 frets higher on the fretboard. This is a D slid up 3 frets, so that makes it an F chord with a D in the bass. It could be D minor 7 or F over D, but let's just call it a D chord, move up 3 frets. So that gives you fret 5 and fret 6. Okay, now let's just start with this basic, we'll call it an F chord, basic F chord in the 5th position. Then we'll just slide right back to the 2nd fret and play a standard D. So we're going to go. So we're just going to start with that. Just play that first. We're on the 5th fret. We're on the 2nd fret. Just playing it the easy way for now. We're on the 5th fret. And we're on the 2nd fret. Okay, now there's a good start. So how long do we spend on each chord? Well, Neil Young plays this F chord on the 5th fret for 6 beats. Then he plays the D chord on the 2nd fret for 4 beats. So let's count the number of strums. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's learn more about the specific fingering he uses on the CD. Now when you start with this F chord on the 5th fret, try this. Take your middle finger, which is playing 5th fret on the high E string, and just lift it up. So we're not going to play 5th fret on the high E string. Instead we'll have an open E there, and so we're not pressing any frets down on the high E string at all. Gives us a F major 7. Okay, now what does that one sound like if we play it on the 5th fret and play it on the 2nd fret? So we're not going to use our middle finger at all on either one of the chords. We're just going to leave the open E ring out all the time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 6 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so now we're getting closer to the CD. So let's learn this. Let's learn the hammer-on that he plays. Okay, he's going to take his first finger, which is currently playing 5th fret on the 3rd string, and he lifts it up in the air and kind of gets it ready right above the note that it was playing. And what you do is you strum the strings, and while they're ringing out, you take your first finger and you slam it into position while the string's vibrating. if you hit the string hard enough, you can add energy to the note and add more energy to the vibration of the string. And so we're going to play that as we begin. And then when you start over, do it again. Okay, now we're getting even closer to what Neil Young's doing. Okay, let's add more in there. So when we get to the D chord on the 2nd fret, let's do a few extra moves. When we arrive on the D chord, we're going to play just a basic old standard D. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to start moving around the high note. We're going to play our pinky finger, 4th finger, we're going to put it in there on the 3rd fret, string 1. Gives us a D suspended. Then we'll go back to D by taking the pinky away. Then we're going to lift the middle finger, which we did earlier in the song. And then we'll put our middle finger back, go back to basic D. Okay, so that was 4 different chords we just played. We played a D, we played a D suspended, we went back to D, we lifted the middle finger for a D suspended 2nd, then we went back to D again. Okay, so when you play that in the tune, it sounds like this. Okay, now let's move on. You'll notice that I'm doing something special with this hand. What I'm doing is, instead of just strumming the strings in the normal way, I'm putting in a bit of palm muting. So use the side of your hand and go right up on the bridge here. Just lay your hand right there, right on the bridge. Hopefully your hand will touch a little bit of the string, just on the very end of the string there. And then when you strum, the strings are muted. This is what they sound like with your hand muffling the sound of the strings. Now if my hand was up in the air and I was strumming normally like this, then the notes would ring out. But I'm not getting that sound, I'm getting this sound. So it stops the vibration of the strings, they don't ring as much. Okay, now a lot of players have already learned palm muting, but what I'm going to show you is palm muting with a bounce. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hand and we're going to lay it in our palm muting position, and we're going to strum the strings, and we're just going to lift our hand up and let our hand rise up off the strings. Okay, let's try that over and over. So lay your hand in palm muting position and strum, and then just let your hand rise up like a hot air balloon. So let's loop that. Here we go. Landing, play, lift up. Landing, play, lift up. Land, play, lift up. Land, play, lift up. You're getting it. Just keep practicing it over and over, nice and slow, like this, until it feels easy. Make sure you relax your shoulder. Okay, now what we're going to add in is, as soon as you land, immediately begin to play. Don't put a 2-second pause between landing and then playing. In fact, let's try to land, play, right away, not even a pause. It's as if the hand and the pick hit the strings at about the same time. So when you land your hand, you strum the strings. Then you just lift away. Since you strum the strings with your hand on them, even if you take your hand away, it still has that palm muted sound. Okay, hold down a chord while you practice that. So what I'm doing now is, as soon as my hand hits the guitar, my pick strums also. But since my hand is on the strings while I strum, I get a palm muted sound. Of course, then if I take my hand away, the palm muted sound continues. Okay, so we're going to add that in, so it sounds like this. Okay, one more thing to add in. This time, after we hit the guitar and hit the strings and strum with our palm muted sound, we're going to take our hand off the strings and we're going to strum upward. It's going to ring out because we've lifted our hand away from the strings, so we get this. So palm mute, then strum up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. There we go. Okay, so if I put that into the tune, it sounds like this. I guess you don't want to go up on every single downward strum, maybe on every other one. Okay, now I'm going to put everything together.